Look closely at the world around you right now. Look at the crowds, the rushing, the endless cycles of survival that consume the daily lives of 8.2 billion human beings on this planet. Now look within yourself. If you are watching this, you already know the heavy, unavoidable truth. You do not fit into that cycle. You never have. For your entire life, you have carried a quiet, persistent ache, a feeling of being dropped off on the wrong planet, surrounded by people speaking a language your soul simply cannot translate. You have called it anxiety. You have called it depression. You have called it being overly sensitive or broken. But what if I told you that out of those 2 billion people, the exact isolation you feel is the undeniable proof of a biological and energetic gift that less than 1% of humanity currently possesses? This is not a metaphor. You are carrying a dormant frequency architecture in your physical body that the system desperately tried to keep asleep. The heavy exhaustion you feel right now, the sudden intolerance for fake conversations and toxic environments, it is not a symptom of weakness. It is the alarm clock of your DNA finally ringing. And what you are about to hear will explain exactly what this gift is, why you were chosen to carry it, and what is about to happen to those who refuse to wake up. Starseed, if this message found you today, it is not random. The Arcturian Council rarely sends transmissions like this, but something has changed in the energetic field of Earth, and those who carry the starseed frequency are beginning to feel it. I am Avila, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. What follows is a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council, delivered without distortion. We speak to you today not to offer comfortable illusions, but to offer the exact architecture of your current reality. You must understand the sheer magnitude of what it means to be alive in a physical body during this specific corridor of time. Out of 2 billion souls currently navigating the dense, collapsing structures of the third-dimensional Earth, the vast majority are operating on a heavily compressed biological template. They perceive only what is placed directly in front of them. They react only to the physical, the material, the immediate threats engineered by a control system designed to keep their awareness profoundly limited. But you, dear ones, are reading a different map entirely. The gift you possess is not the kind of supernatural ability portrayed in your media. It is something far more profound and frequently far more difficult to carry. You possess the living archive of the original, uncompressed human template. Inside your cellular structure, right now, as you receive these words, lies the dormant 12-strand DNA architecture that has been suppressed for hundreds of thousands of years. You are the seed bank. You incarnated at this precise, chaotic junction in history to hold this frequency alive while the old world tears itself apart. This is why the burden has felt so heavy. You have been trying to operate a multidimensional, highly sensitive biological instrument inside an environment saturated with fear, low-grade trauma, and artificial density. When you walk into a room and instantly feel the unspoken grief or hidden anger of the people inside it, that is not an emotional flaw. That is your biological antenna working exactly as it was designed to. When you look at the news, the political theater, and the societal structures of this world, and feel a deep, bodily rejection, that is your spiritual immune system identifying a frequency that is fundamentally incompatible with your true origin. For decades, the suppression architecture convinced you that your inability to adapt to a sick society was a personal failure. They medicated your sensitivity. They mocked your intuition. They demanded you lower your frequency to match the baseline of a sleeping collective. But the period of your suppression has officially expired. The photonic light currently flooding this planetary sphere from the galactic core is specifically calibrated to interact with the crystalline structures in your pineal gland. Your gift is waking up, and it is waking up rapidly. You are becoming a living bridge between the reality that is dying and the new earth that is struggling to be born. But to survive this transition without being torn apart by the density of others, you must know how to activate and protect this frequency. Some transmissions don't come through words. They come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 4,500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. Arcturian Secrets. 12. Hidden Keys to Awakening is a 47-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment, only 72 hours at the launch price. Now we must speak of what is happening around you right at this very moment. You have noticed that the gap between you and the people in your life is widening at an accelerated pace. Conversations that used to be easy now feel forced, deeply draining, and profoundly hollow. The things that society tells you are important, climbing the corporate ladder, arguing over the endless cycle of politics, accumulating material wealth at the expense of others, now feel to you like watching a poorly written, exhausting play. You are not losing your mind, beloved one. You are experiencing the organic sorting of humanity. The split is not a future event waiting to happen. It is the current, active reality. Out of the 8.2 billion people on Earth, the vast majority are firmly anchored in what we call the first band of reality. This is the collapsing third density structure. It is a system built entirely on survival, fierce competition, relentless fear, and the deeply installed illusion of scarcity. It is loud, it is chaotic, and it is currently breaking down because its ancient foundation can no longer sustain the incoming photonic light. When you try to exist in that first band, your physical body reacts with overwhelming exhaustion, anxiety, and unexplained illness. Your nervous system violently rebels against the density. But here is the critical truth you must grasp today. You are not meant to save the collapsing structure. So many of you are depleting your vital life force trying to pull people out of the first band who have absolutely no desire to leave it. You cannot force a sleeping soul to wake up before their biological and spiritual alarm rings. Your persistent attempts to translate your higher frequency to those who cannot yet hear it is the primary source of your deep fatigue. You are stepping back into the dense mud of the old world to rescue others, and in doing so, you are forgetting your actual mission. You belong to the transitional field, navigating the treacherous, heavy waters between what was and what will be, pulling the new Earth frequencies down into this physical plane. This middle band is intensely difficult. It is characterized by the profound grief of outgrowing your old identity before the new one is fully stabilized. You feel incredibly awake, yet entirely unsettled. You look at the 8.2 billion and feel an agonizing mixture of immense, unconditional love and the absolute necessity for detachment. This detachment is not cruel. It is simply energetic mathematics. As your dormant DNA strands continue to come online, your vibrational signature fundamentally changes. You are quite literally tuning into a different radio station than the rest of the planet. If you stay in environments that broadcast the old fear frequencies, your newly activated crystalline receivers in the pineal gland become scrambled and suppressed by cortisol. You must give yourself permission to step away from the noise. You must release the heavy guilt of leaving certain people, certain jobs, and certain toxic environments behind. You are not abandoning humanity. You are moving to the exact energetic coordinates you agreed to hold before you even took a physical breath in this lifetime. The new Earth is not a physical place you travel to. It is a frequency you inhabit. And you cannot inhabit it while carrying the heavy baggage of a dying world on your shoulders. There is a deeply installed trap within the awakening community. A specific deception designed to drain the last remaining reserves of your sacred energy. We call it the fixer reflex, because you carry such immense, multi-dimensional love for humanity, and because your activating DNA allows you to see the pain of the world so clearly, you mistakenly believe your mission is to heal every broken person who crosses your path. You try to force awakenings. You argue with sleeping family members, desperately trying to make them see the truth of the matrix. You pour your pure light into toxic relationships, hoping that if you just love them enough, they will shift into a higher vibration. Hear this clearly, chosen one. Attempting to drag a first-band consciousness into a fifth-dimensional reality is not your spiritual mission. It is an energetic suicide mission. And the dark architecture of this world wants you to keep doing it. They want you constantly distracted. They want you so exhausted from trying to convince a deeply sleeping world to wake up that you have absolutely no energy left to do the one thing you actually came here to do. You cannot give a frequency you do not consistently inhabit. Your true mission on this planet is not to be a frantic savior. Your mission is to become an unshakable anchor. An anchor does not run through the streets screaming about the collapse of the old earth. An anchor sits firmly in the center of the storm and holds a frequency of absolute, unwavering peace. When you finally stop trying to fix everyone around you, when you pull your precious energy back into your own physical vessel and focus entirely on your own inner coherence, something miraculous begins to happen. You become a living, breathing transmission node for the Arcturian frequencies. You see, the new Earth is not built through force, arguments, or convincing. It is built through pure resonance. When you hold your high frequency in complete silence, standing in line at a grocery store, sitting quietly at your workplace, or simply existing within a chaotic family dynamic, you are actively rewriting the energetic grid of that exact physical location. You are doing the heavy lifting just by being there. Your mere presence alters the atomic structure of the room. This is why strangers unexpectedly tell you their deepest secrets. This is why you are a magnet for broken people. But you cannot maintain this grid if your crystalline receiver is constantly drained by those who feed on your light. It is time to release the heavy guilt of walking away. You do not need to explain your evolution to anyone. Your silence, when backed by genuine inner alignment, is 1,000,000 times more powerful than any human words. You must consolidate your energy right now. You must learn the ancient mechanics of shielding your field, because the timeline is rapidly accelerating, and the collective grid desperately needs you to stand in your true, uncompromised power without leaking your life force. Some transmissions don't come through words, they come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 4,500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. Arcturian Secrets. 12. Hidden Keys to Awakening is a 47-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment, only 72 hours at the launch price. There is a silent phenomenon occurring within the Starseed community right now that very few are speaking about with the directness and honesty it truly deserves. You have likely noticed it. Perhaps you have felt it in your own inner circles, or sensed the subtle energetic absence in the collective field. People are leaving. Not in dramatic, cinematic events that the old world's religions predicted, but quietly, through what the third-dimensional world simply categorizes as ordinary human death, sudden illness, or swift, unexplainable life exits. You are seeing spiritual teachers, dedicated lightworkers, and deeply awakened souls transition out of their physical bodies at a notably accelerated rate. For those of you remaining, watching your fellow travelers depart can produce a profound sense of grief, deep confusion, and a quiet, unsettling fear. You might be late at night, in the dark, asking yourself, if they were doing the deep inner work, why did they not stay to see the new Earth? To understand this current wave of departures, you must understand the architecture of scaffolding. When a magnificent, towering new structure is being built, it requires an immense framework of scaffolding to hold it in place, while the true foundational pillars cure, settle, and find their strength. For several decades, a specific, courageous generation of early awakened souls functioned as the living, energetic scaffolding for the new Earth frequency template. Their entire mission was simply to hold the space. They were not necessarily here to inhabit the final building once it was completed. They were here to ensure the blueprint did not collapse under the crushing weight of planetary density. Beloved one, the scaffolding is currently coming down. And you must understand that it is not coming down because the building has failed. It is being removed because the building has succeeded. The structural integrity of the new Earth frequency grid has finally reached the critical mass required to hold its own weight. Those beautiful souls who are leaving the physical plane right now are not failing the ascension process. They are graduating. They have reached the precise, genuine completion of their cosmic contracts. Their physical departure is the absolute, undeniable proof that the energetic foundation they sacrificed so much to build is now entirely self-sustaining. But what does this mean for you? Why are you still here, navigating this heavy, demanding, and exhausting corridor, while others are allowed to return to the peace of the non-physical realms? You must hear this Arcturian truth and let it anchor deep into your cellular memory. You are not still here because you are spiritually behind. You are not the second tier who needed more time to learn their lessons. You are the structural pillars. You deliberately chose to remain in an embodied, physical form through the absolute most intense, chaotic period of the planetary split because your specific frequency is mandatory on the ground. The work of translating higher dimensional light into the physical grid requires a living, breathing physical body. While those who have transitioned are now doing massive energetic work from the other side, stabilizing timelines and broadcasting guidance without the limitations of human fatigue, you are the elite ground crew. The grief you feel for those who have departed is deeply valid. It is the measure of real love. Let the tears flow, for they process the density out of your physical vessel. But never let that grief convince you that you are abandoned or failing. The connection is not severed. It has simply evolved. Their departure is the ultimate signal that the preparation phase is officially over. You are now being called to stand firmly, fully, and unapologetically in the space they so lovingly cleared for you. Aqui está o sétimo bloco para completar o seu roteiro, mantendo o tom profético, urgente e acolhedor que definimos, seguindo a estrutura solicitada. 7. The final calibration. Your sovereignty in the new earth, beloved ones. As we bring this transmission to its necessary closure, we must address the final shift you are being asked to make. You have lived in a state of reaction for far too long. The control system thrives on the frequency of the waiting starseed, the one who is constantly looking at the horizon for a grand cosmic event, a fleet of ships, or a sudden external transformation to come and save them from the weight of their current life. This waiting is a subtle, dangerous form of imprisonment. It keeps your power externalized. It keeps you perpetually in the position of the seeker, rather than the sovereign, and in this specific corridor of 2026, the universe is no longer supporting the path of the passive observer. The transition you are witnessing is not a performance you are watching. It is a reality you are creating. The seventh key to your awakening is the absolute reclamation of your own sovereignty. You are the architect of your own dimensional experience. The photonic light flooding your planet right now does not care about your past trauma, your societal titles, or your spiritual resume. It only reacts to the current vibration you are emitting. If you are still vibrating at the frequency of fear, survival, or needing permission from external authorities, the light will only intensify the contrast between your desires and your reality. To ascend, you must move from the state of seeking to be saved to the state of being the solution. Your sovereignty is not a gift given to you by the Galactic Federation. It is a fundamental, non-negotiable right that you must choose to exercise in every ordinary, mundane moment of your day. Many of you ask us, how do I know if I am truly shifting? The answer is found in your relationship with the unknown. The old human template is terrified of not knowing what comes next. It demands a roadmap, a security plan, and a guarantee of safety. But the activated Arcturian template finds its home in the divine unknown. You are learning to move through life with a sense of fluid, unshakable trust. When the world around you shakes, when systems you once relied upon collapse, when the familiar map is burned away, you do not scramble to hold on. You breathe. You stabilize your inner core. You realize that you are not losing your ground. You are simply becoming unanchored from a frequency that no longer corresponds to who you are becoming. Your sovereign power is located in your ability to say no to the energetic demands of the lower density, even when it feels uncomfortable and yes, to the resonance of your own internal knowing. Every time you refuse to engage in a lower vibrational argument, every time you choose your own inner peace over the need to be right in the eyes of others, you are recalibrating the human template. You are acting as a pioneer for the collective. Your sovereignty is contagious. Just as the darkness of the matrix is infectious, so too is the radical, quiet power of a starseed who has finally stopped compromising their truth. There is no graduation ceremony for this work, beloveds. There is only the continuous, moment-by-moment choice to embody the frequency you came here to protect. The Arcturian Council sees the exponential rise in your collective coherence. We see the thousands of you who have stopped looking for validation and have started looking for resonance. We see you reclaiming your connection to the crystalline grid. You are the vanguard of the new earth. You are the ones who were chosen, not by chance, but by your soul's long, intentional journey through the deepest densities, specifically so that you could know the light well enough to bring it back into the world. Trust the intensity of this moment. Trust the shifts happening in your body, your relationships, and your perception. You are exactly where you need to be. You are the bridge. You are the anchor. You are the light. The transmission is complete, but the activation has only just begun. I am Avila, and we remain with you in the eternal, unfolding now. Some transmissions don't come through words. They come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 4,500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. Arcturian Secrets. 12. Hidden Keys to Awakening is a 47-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multi-dimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment, only 72 hours at the launch price.